everybody.
Welcome back to the Garage Griddle Show.
Yeah.
How you doing? And today we've got some interesting ingredients to do something that Al and I both adore and love. Why don't you tell them a little bit about these babies, honey?
These babies are New York strip steaks, supplied by our favorite farm, SteAmy Farm, and they are. Yep.
Okay.
And they are marinated with a little bit of salt and pepper and garlic granules. And these are our fresh white mushrooms and some freshly sliced red onion. We have some butter and some thyme, and yeah. I have a major spice project to do, and I really don't want to do it, but it's putting all my spices in different jars for all three venues. So I have to do it for my kitchen, I have to do it for the grill area down here, and then I have to do it for Chloe. So, and then we have a GoPro hooked up with a light so that you guys have better visibility. We just got this huge light in the mail today. So we're going to test that out and see if the lighting is a little bit better for you guys. And hopefully the audio is good. We haven't even, seems like the audio is fine between the two of us.
Yeah, well, as Elson is frequent to point out, I'm all about gadgets and the newest and latest and greatest, and that's not entirely true. So I want everyone to take a look at this old school job, right?
What? That was my mom and dad's, wasn't it?
This is as simple as you get, right? I mean, and the reason why I grabbed this is because as I realized it's increasingly more difficult to try to tap a watch to get a stopwatch going, or to wait for, when you're filming on a phone, it's hard to switch it over and turn it into a stopwatch, right? Because it sometimes kills the video. So the lighting is not only to produce a better quality lighting for the video, it's also helpful to me because I can actually see the griddle better. It's kind of proving to be a little bit difficult. So right now I've got both of these burners on low because we're just working on our edge, and I don't want them to sear or get burned. So we're going to throw all this mushroom on. Are we going to use all of it or just half?
Use all of it because it's just going to become very small. We can use the rest for omelets or something.
Good. On top. So there we go. There's our mushroom onion, and just so happens to be trash day today, which is great. You can get those right out the door. And I'm going to utilize pretty much this entire cook surface, as you know. As this cooks, it's going to shrink. And you don't want that to be. Well, me and the onions, I don't know what it is. I don't like to stay on the griddle for me. I have an onion problem I don't know about.
It is possible.
What do you think? Should I hit this with a little oregano or leave it on maybe a little thyme?
Thyme.
Alright. Oh, that smells.
Thyme and mushrooms are a match made in heaven.
So like we had mentioned in a previous video when we were talking about meats with sauces and already seasoned and things like that, you'll notice Al expertly prepped these with nothing more than salt and pepper, which, again, trying to bury a steak in some type of sauce, and there are exceptions based on a specific recipe, but we don't believe that steak needs a perfume bath in order to be good. It's just got to be done right. And start out with a decent piece of meat. So SteAmy Farms is, again, as Al pointed out, one of decided to go ahead and
Help their parents.
help their parents out with the family farm, and they changed gears from their normal and trained careers to help run that entire business. And we support them as much as we can, and they've supported us. And all through the pandemic, this has proven to be absolutely a wonderful marriage for our needs and their business, because we have never enjoyed an experience shopping like we do when we talk to them and we see them on a regular basis. And it's so cool, because it's sort of like a time warp, So like going back in time to the way things really used to be.
I love going up to the farm and seeing the chickens and seeing how I saw the little chicks hatching, and no, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's fun looking at your future chicken breast.
They have just the most remarkable, beautiful little farm, and she comes and attends the local farmers markets so that people can get access to her wonderful food, and
they do.
It's the meat is fantastic, and I think the very first thing I bought from her was a $200 prime rib roast.
What?
And yeah, I kind of went crazy. I ended up dividing it in half, and it was one of the best pieces of meat I've ever had. So, I could just call her up and say, oh, Amy, I want half a pig, and tell her exactly what, cuts of meat I want, and how much ground pork and sausage, and she puts it all together for me in a nice package, and we make arrangements to meet, and it just works out great. And today I ordered a quarter of a cow, approximately a quarter of a cow, and because I love the short ribs, and I have like the world's best short rib recipe, and I'm jonesing for it. So she's gonna put that together for me. And we have like 4 freezers, so we have plenty of room to store all this.
So lucky.
Yeah, we have 2 of those, not the trunk kind, but the vertical kind. We have 2 of those, and then we have the freezer that was part of my dad's refrigerator freezer, and then we have our own because we just got a new fridge. So we have plenty of storage, and I realize not a lot of people can do that, but you can go in with your friends, another couple maybe, and do it, and it's well worth it. So it's this is becoming kind of an ad for SteAmy Farms, which wasn't intended, but we're just so excited about what they have to offer, and the quality of their meats is higher than high. So, but anyway, let me get up, take a look at that. And Jerry was absolutely right. The mushrooms don't take as long as they do. Of course, I'm still making comparisons to my electric range, and the gas range you can't even compare.
Even if you're trying to saute this on a gas range with a skittle, what you'd wind up with is the situation where everything is all clumped on top of each other, so heat won't go through it as finely as you can get it with this, which is what continues to remind me and surprise me, and I get enjoyment from the fact that I've got all this space. I've got 22 inches of space here to play with, and I'm not restricted to a small heat spot in a standard skillet on a stove.
Yeah, 12 inches, right? If you get a large skillet, I think 12, you can probably get a 14-inch one, but it's nothing compared to this.
No, because even with a 14-inch, you're still stuck with how much flame you have underneath it, creating a hot spot. So, as you can see, on just low, these are done.
Yeah.
They have finished actually cooking and softening, and now I'm just going to do this and set them over here. Get them out of the way. there for a little bit.
So can we try something a little different with the steaks?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
Can we use oil and butter as the base and then replenish the butter when you flip it?
Yeah, we'll need more butter.
No, just use half of that.
Okay. Well,
And that'll be more than enough.
now what we got to do is get this up to medium high on the left side, which is here, because we want that heat a little bit higher than where we're at right now. So as you can see, this is the lower part of the griddle, and we're just going to let this sit and continue to kind of do its thing. This will come up to heat really quickly. Another thing I love about this griddle, takes no time at all to get this entire side from about this area over completely roasting hot, which is what we need for that steak. We're already up to 300 degrees and cranking. So
I'd like to point out this drink that Jerry is drinking right now. And he was kind enough to make me one. And we purchased the other day some nectar. We got peach and mango, and I think I got pear.
you did.
And so he made us a wonderful cocktail of the peach and the mango and vodka and a little bit of Malibu. And it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah, see what we're trying to do. Just pretend it's not 22 degrees out in upstate New York. We're actually...
We're drinking tropical tonight amidst 20 inches of snow.
Yeah. 44 and a half inches of snow already in the region for the winter season. It's already broken a record up in this area, although I did survive the snow apocalypse in Worcester, Massachusetts some years back when it was it was 122 inches of snow fell in a single winter season. Which I know it's hard for people to fathom, but it really happened. It's like a real deal. All right, now we're up to about 400 degrees. We're going to toss these on. And we will do as you request, my dear.
Thank you.
I'm happy to oblige.
So what we're going to do for Jerry and someday maybe me is I have a kitchen cart that has a butcher block on the top and it has some shelves underneath it and it's on wheels. So we're actually going to bring that down here, at least for the winter months, and because we find there's a lot of carrying back and forth and, you know, needs. It's like having a second kitchen, right? So I'm going to do some spices up for him. We have the oil canisters and the water canisters and the tools that he likes to use. So we're going to bring that down here, so the only things we're really going to be carrying back and forth are the ingredients and the food. So that might make, not that it's really a difficult thing, but when you have a small tray like we're using to go up and down with the food, and then you throw oil on it and thyme, like whatever spice you're using, and butter, and it just gets, you know, a little much. So I went out and purchased like 36 spice containers with lids and all that stuff. So I should be able to use them all between my kitchen and down here in Chloe. So that seems to me to be a good buy.
Oh, speaking of Chloe, so we have some good news. Yesterday, or the day before, I forget, everything's a blur. I think it was, anyway, within the last 48 hours, a lot of our equipment has started to show up to Chloe, which is fantastic. So we received our shipment from Battleborn Batteries of our, whoa, I thought it was right. No way that's on properly. So we're going to give that a little extra push. Oh, you know why? I bet I didn't go past 25. There we go. So we received our shipment of our Battleborn batteries and our Victron control units to the RV showed up yesterday. So, this is huge because these are the two components that we need to make our lithium-ion batteries actually work well for us in Chloe. And they're showing up in perfect timing. We had a wonderful meeting with all the folks in the service department down at Meyer's RV, or up in Meyer's RV, I should say, and back. And it left us with a really warm and good feeling in our heart. And we'll be sure to link up Meyer's RV. We're very happy with the team there so far. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
I'm digging that.
So,
a little more butter.
We're going to throw some more of this down.
I want to see how much of that butter like seeps into there.
And get some of this going in there. Watch out, it's spitting here. I'm just going to grab this guy in because I didn't get enough of it in there for him. And I'll just flop him on top.
I'm still trying to decide what my first meal that I'm going to cook on the griddle is going to be.
Oh, and I can't wait. I'm super excited.
But that's just beautiful.
Yeah,
Look at that char.
Al and I are true carnivores in the sense that we actually like to see carnage when we eat. So we enjoy our steak done medium rare. Maybe a little bit more on the rare side than some people might like. But I love what I'm seeing over here.
Yeah, they look fantastic.
Fantastic. But a couple things I've learned over the years about cooking steaks is why a lot of people fail is they just don't leave them alone, you know, or worse, one of the most egregious things I've ever seen is somebody hitting them with those carving forks, you know, they poke holes all through the meat while they're cooking it, and all that juice that you're supposed to leave alone is bleeding out of the meat, which is just whatever. I realize a lot of people don't agree with what I'm probably saying. Like we say and we'll continue to say, do you feed your family the way you want to feed them, you know, do what it is that works for you. But again, a good steak doesn't really need a lot of help. It just needs to be left alone, in my opinion. Don't harass it. Don't assault it. Give it a chance to be a good steak. And yeah, that really crisped up really well, didn't it?
It did. It looks beautiful.
It does. It has a great look going there.
So, you know, you were talking about salt on a steak, right? That reminds me of a joke my dad used to tell me all the time. He thought it was the funniest thing he's ever heard. Here's the joke. Two nuts were walking down the street. One was assaulted.
Yeah, that's one of those dad jokes, you know, that you hear it's all about on the internet, and I'll be honest. He told it to me a couple times. Of course, I did my best to pretend like it was the first time I was hearing it for about the 8th time. But he also had some very funny jokes, which I won't share, because they're a little colorful. And one of my funniest memories of Lloyd was we were driving in my pickup truck, and he had forgotten that Allison was in the back seat. And it was at one of those moments where every once in a while when he and I were alone and I was driving somewhere, either to haircuts or taking him to breakfast or something, he'd tell me jokes that he wouldn't tell her, and they were, you know, kind of an adult nature. They weren't horrible though, they weren't like Richard Pryor or George, you know, they weren't crazy, over the top kind of jokes, but he would do it, and he had not realized that she was in the back seat, and he dropped this joke about a rather well-endowed woman running down the beach. And I think I almost crashed the truck laughing.
What was the joke?
I can't tell it.
Oh.
It's a little too risque.
Oh.
All right, and there we go, guys. This cook is done.
So I tell the doneness by the finger, and it's just been because of my years of cooking steak, and I know, and those are perfect.
All right, so you concur we're done.
Yeah.
All right, gas is going off. Steaks are coming off.
Yep. Do the steaks first because they're close.
It's close.
Yeah.
All right. This is us getting used to our griddle and it's cooking time. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that, folks. Not bad for a fried steak. Still getting my arms around this, but you know, look at that. So now we'll let these sit for some time to get their juices in the right spots, and that is fantastic.
So the process that we do, because we don't like food sitting, like when you bring down the raw steaks, right? You don't want to put the cooked steaks on the raw juice. So I always put foil in the bottom of a pan, and then I actually put the raw steaks on parchment paper. And that way, when we get the steaks on the grill, we throw away the parchment paper, and it can go back right on the foil, so we can pocket it like he just did, and let it sit for a while.
I think just brilliant.
And don't have to worry about botulism or any of that awful stuff that you get.
We don't want parasites around here. There's too many of them in politics right now. So,
let's not talk about politics.
I didn't say any party.
No, you didn't. But
All right.
you said politics.
That, kids, is this episode of the Garage Griddling. Till we're a full-fledged on-the-road RV show, which is coming, and sooner than you won't think. So we're just hanging in there, hoping and waiting and praying that everything goes right. But that's it for the show tonight, and thanks for coming.